Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we'll talk about life in America and exactly in Florida, in Miami and Palm Beach town. I have a friend who lives there and he will talk with me about life there and tell us some interesting. So I will edit him now. Wait a second. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
It's great to be on. I'm excited.
Really? I think me more. I'm more excited about my
Okay.
position. So that things. So Brian, thanks for being here, and I want to talk with you today about life in America, about Miami, Florida, sun, palms, and some interesting stuff.
Okay.
Tell us about who you are, what do you do there, where do you live, and something like this. Introduce, please, yourself.
All right. First and foremost, I think I can be identified as a chess professional. I have been a full-time teacher for 7 years, and I've authored a number of books, most of which are on Chessable. I own my own chess company, and I am just now getting back to competing. Albeit not the best first tournament back, but we all hit roadblocks. So I am working hard on my game before I go to Europe and try to compete all over. So a little bit about Florida. I think the main takeaway when I'm talking to people from other parts of the world is that the weather really doesn't change here that much. So we had our 3 days of winter. Um, so
Really?
now the temperature stays about the same year round. I think we had a little bit of a discussion on it that the occasional hurricane, but I think that Floridians, we have such a relaxed feeling about bad weather that we only evacuate if it's absolutely terrible. We pretty much just stay here no matter what. But it's a beautiful place to live, and I'm north of Miami, but it's an absolutely beautiful place. I love living here. I don't I don't have much I want to or I don't have a place I want to live other than here. I'll put it that way. I love it.
You know, the most important question for people who are listening us, I'm sure, is how to work in the paradise like this. How to work in a place where is always the weather is so cool and everything is, just talking to you, relax, don't do anything, forget about that. You don't need this. How? You're so determined, and I know you're, I don't know,
Oh yeah.
crazy about work. How do you do this?
I think it has a lot to do with personality type, as you say. Like I'm a crazy work person. So when
Same,
you live
same.
in a place that a lot of people go on holiday, you really need to be organized and have a good schedule when working. Because I make my own hours and schedule, it's more I have a task list on a daily basis. You have the daily task list, the weekly task list, the monthly task list. And if you don't feel like working, don't work. Especially, I mean, I record a lot of video, as you know, like you do. And for me personally, I don't think I'm going to have a great product unless I'm excited about doing the work. So my mindset needs to be healthy, positive, etc., in order to get the most enthusiasm out of it. Like here, I'm in good spirits because I slept right up until about 5 minutes before this. So that's normal.
Yeah, you have -7 hours from Ukraine. We have
Okay.
already 5 p.m.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tell us,
I
please.
was wondering.
Yeah. Tell us, please, what does being American mean for you? What does it mean? What do you
For
feel?
for me, first and foremost, I would say I, I take a lot of pride in being an American, and I still believe wholeheartedly we have the best financial opportunities of any country in the world, and there's still tremendous upward mobility for people who will put in the hours. And I think we have all over the world, it's get rich quick schemes and just wishful thinking that you're just going to wake up one day and be successful. But the number one thing above all else that I've learned is that if you put in the time and the hard work and you're grinding constantly, it will pay off. You may not see it immediately, but it will pay off eventually. You just have to work hard. I would say that's the most major takeaway that I have personally is learning the hard work.
I see. And do you feel the support from the government, for example? Because we are not really here.
Yeah, I mean it. It definitely it's a broad question, but I would say like this is my sociology background talking from college that satisfaction with the government compared to other countries, I would say we're near the top. We may have in social media, it's constant bickering and things of that nature, but I think you look anywhere in the world now, if there's more than one political party, of course there's going to be arguments and discord, but that's part of the process of democracy in general is having that discourse in order to make decisions that's best for all of us.
Mm-hmm. What are pros and cons of living in Florida, except
Oh,
weather?
except weather. Okay. So we can get to the to why I really love Florida in general. And to me, it's the food. It's got to be the food first and foremost because
Mm.
we have such a melting pot, so many different communities and authentic foods. We have foods directly from the Caribbean, and you have local shops. Authentic food is just so amazing. And I like being able to go somewhere and you're just immediately immersed in another culture. And you only had to travel a few miles. That's one of the beautiful things that you get. And I think you had we had talked about a question about your perception of American food versus, say, my perception of American food. Like when you go other places, and I've traveled to a number of countries, typically when you see American food, it's fast food
Yeah, true.
because economically we can make the most money off of that. Like when most people think of American food, it's McDonald's, KFC, things of that nature. But that's not how I perceive our food at all. So uh, I think you can eat very, very healthy foods if you choose to. I would
Mm-hmm.
say, sadly, most Americans don't choose that, but um, like since September, I've personally lost about 30 pounds. So I stopped eating the bad foods and increased activity. And you definitely have wonderful options for healthy foods, but you need to choose. And that's also getting back to that hard work concept that I talked about earlier. Uh, how bad do you want it?
That's really interesting because we really do think that in America there are only fast food and the gum hamburgers, potatoes, and so, and you have no just possibilities to feed with good food at all. Hmm. What do you usually eat? Breakfast,
Well,
dinner, supper?
oh yeah. I mean, I get my 3 meals a day, and I say for instance, for lunch today, I'll have fresh fish. So more than likely, I'll have ahi tuna and some vegetables, and that'll be, as an example. I will say from the jumping out of bed and making sure I was presentable, that breakfast was not really on the table this morning, but yeah, um, I would say an appropriate serving size: fish, chicken, beef, with vegetables, and that's typically my diet.
What can you say about people in Florida? For example, in Odessa, we have, just so open people. They are ready to suggest you everything, to show you the city, to take from you all your money, sure.
Oh yeah,
If
absolutely.
you're a tourist, yeah. But we are really, always smiling, hugging, and so on and so on. And for example, in the capital of our country, Kiev, there are, just working people. They work hard and they are always going like this. And you just, I don't know, you don't want to ask anyone about anything. Just go straight in your place and do not talk to any any such person. What about Florida?
Well, it's interesting because I would say in America in general, no matter where you plop down, you're going to have people from different environments, different backgrounds, different groups at pretty much all times. So it's a mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get. So generally, if you're friendly with others, like say for instance, when I was traveling in New York, the subway system can be a bit complicated for someone who's never ridden the subway. And from being where I'm from the South, where we were told that most New Yorkers can be brash or insensitive to travelers, but we asked a question to a person that was there, and he was extremely helpful and very, very nice. So I think putting a negative label, I think it's how you approach people. If you're kind, if you're open, if you legitimately have a reason for talking to somebody and you're not just trying to sell them something, they're generally going to be pretty open and kind back. And if not, you move on to the next person.
Hi, bye, chess books, bye, yoga for I course, everything.
Exactly.
Nice. Listen, I have a question for you. I didn't got it. There is state of Florida, yeah, the city Miami, and you live or you have a chess club. You work there in Palm Beach. Palm Beach is a town,
Mhm.
but in the map there is Miami, and Palm Beach is a part of Miami. How does it
Uh,
work?
so it's a city north of Miami. Miami's more south located in Florida. Um,
But there is
so
nothing in before um, the city and town
there's
between
just
between between.
a number of cities all the way between here and there. I mean, there's no gap, but it's just
Oh no,
constant
yeah,
city, 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 city.
yeah.
They all blend together basically, but it's amazing because as you go from one city to another, it's very, very different. So by the time you get to Miami, there's certain places in Miami to where there's no English. It's I would say it's more like Little Havana, or it's much more like you find a lot of Cuban communities in Miami, which is another
Mhm.
reason why I like Florida so much compared to where I grew up. There's just, like I said, getting back to the food, the people, there's a lot of culture. And it's like why we're having this conversation. Curiosity about culture and learning about other groups. You get such a good variety of cultures all working together in unison here, which is one of the main reasons I think it's a beautiful place and I love it.
Nice, very nice. Listen, I have some bloggers in Instagram who lives in Miami, and they making stories like they found iguana somewhere just in the streets, laying down and having some bath,
Oh yeah.
and, and something like that. Which homeless that does not mean homeless animals, just animals here in your city. Which ones?
Um, well, it's really so say with like dogs and cats, I've lived in a number of places in the US and we have animal shelters here. So I really don't see like I can't remember a time seeing stray animals because you can call the department that handles that and they'll come pick up the animal and then they take it to a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
But to iguanas, this is kind of an interesting point that a lot of people don't think about. And I thought it was hilarious the first time I heard it on the radio. Well, because we only have a few days in the year where the temperature can drop low, we'll have on the radio they'll tell you, watch out for falling iguanas because they will fall out of the tree when it gets too cold. If there's a rapid temperature drop, they're completely fine, but they just and if you take them somewhere warm, they wake up and they're very, very unhappy. So don't think that they're dead. They are not. They're just in hibernation for a moment there. But
That's
yeah, I had seen pictures. Beware falling iguanas. So it does actually happen. But they're huge. I mean, there's typically any retention pond or drainage system, you'll see a number of them, and they are definitely quite large.
Are they dangerous when they don't sleep? Of course.
I have never tested getting close enough to one to, I mean, they look angry, I'll say that, but I don't think, I think like anything, if you leave them alone, they leave you alone. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to go poke one though.
Don't try this. Better don't. Okay, what about salary? This is the very important, very interesting question, I know, for people all over the world. What is the average salary in Florida and what is the price for a flat? Tell us about this.
Okay. I would say in general in the United States, it depends on what statistics you're reading, but it's somewhere between annual average salary is between 50,000 and 56,000 US dollars a year. Um, Cost of living, on the other hand, can be very, very expensive depending upon where you're at. So I remember moving here and living downtown in Palm Beach Gardens to start with, and my rent for a single bedroom, 1,000 square foot apartment was like 1,800 a month. So rent can be quite expensive depending upon where you're located. Um, I don't know. I would have to look up the statistics to see median cost. Um, but also I would say gas is a lot of people complain, but I think when you look at how much we pay for gas per gallon
Mm-hmm.
compared to the rest of the world, we're
Mm-hmm.
we're paying much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, even the difference. I was in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago, and I want to say it was like $6 a gallon. It's half that here. So it can range widely based on where you're at.
Mm-hmm. True, true. Gallon, I don't know how much is it, but I think we pay $1 here.
Oh wow, I
For
wouldn't
here.
mind that.
It's the dream for a driver. Dream
Yeah,
place.
and I had a friend stationed in Japan, and he said that when he was there, and this has been a number of years ago, it was like $18 a gallon. So it's different
Uh,
everywhere.
However, we have so bad roads that that doesn't cost. So that doesn't so cool, isn't?
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me about entertainment in Florida. I know you can take nothing with yourself and go to the beach, and I suppose swim.
Oh yeah. That not only do you have great weather most of the time. I mean, I've recently been. You're never at a loss to find something new to do, and it's typically relatively close by. Like let's say sports. Well, we have a professional hockey team, basketball, baseball, football, professional teams that you can go see games live, and it's not that much of a drive, and it's typically not that expensive. Um, Along with that, we have the beautiful beaches, and I mean, just close to my house, I recently booked going to an animal sanctuary. It's much like a zoo where they have lions and tigers and other animals, so you can get quite close to them. So it's a lot of things to do. I mean, I wish I had a bullet point list of all the attractions and beautiful things to do in Florida. But typically, if you can think of it, we've got it, and it's nearby. And to me, especially after traveling to Los Angeles, I would say the major difference between West Coast and East Coast is when we were in LA, if it was a 12-minute or 12 miles to our destination, you're looking at 30 to 45 minutes depending upon what time of day it is, even early in the morning, because traffic was terrible. Here, the only time traffic is bad is when people are getting off work. The rest of the time, the infrastructure and the way the city's built, you have multiple paths to get from one place to another, so you can get to it quite quickly.
Mhm, mhm. You know, when we think about Miami, the picture is in the picture that came up in our heads are beautiful girls with a big imagination, yeah,
Okay.
with cool cars, different, I don't know, dresses, jewelries, fashion, restaurants, beaches, and so and so. Some fashion and very expensive, something like this. However, I know I've read that there are very different places in Miami, and not all of them areas, yeah, and not all of them are so I don't know, not the word cool, but not so. Help me, not so.
Are you looking for affluent, have a lot of money,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah, in any major city you go to, you're going to see more swings. And I would say Miami, being that it's such a large city, you're going to have that more often than say in the area that I live in Palm Beach Gardens. Um, like I would say generally, I mean we have a city ordinance, for instance, in Palm Beach Gardens that there's no fast food. So that's kind of like an interesting point to what we were talking about earlier with food. Um, yeah, it depends on what part of Miami you're in. Because if I drop you off in a random part of Miami, it's going to look very, very different compared to if you're going to the vacation destination downtown Miami that everyone thinks of. I think that's the same perception when you go to pretty much any major city in the world, is that they present the most beautiful and best things when you look in pictures online,
Yeah.
but that they don't talk about the fact that, I guess, say, as an example, if I'm going to the pyramids in Cairo, how long does it take to get there? Like, how many tourists are there? Can you even go there right now during COVID? Like these types of questions are the things that I look up as a traveler, and I mean, as a chess player, problem solver, it's the same kind of thing. What are the pros and cons? Because when you're looking things up online, you're typically only seeing the pros.
Hmm. I see. Yeah, true. Very different. Everything is very different. On the one hand, the picture can be very beautiful, but on the other side, it can be very different from that.
Oh yeah.
We were talking already about the weather. However, here in Ukraine, there are almost no such hurricanes and such crazy winds as you have. I'm watching some stories of bloggers, and sometimes there are, I don't know, like the end of the world behind the window, like rain, wind, and palms are breaking down. How do you live there actually in these days?
Uh, it happens rarely where the weather is to that level. Like it's not a yearly thing. I mean, we can we can get lucky and you just get some hard rain. It can completely avoid us. I think since I've lived here since 2014, the weather was to the point to where I needed to evacuate only two times. And it was for a few days to a week, and then I came right back.
Hmm.
Um, but I will say that compared to other places in the southern United States, our infrastructure is built to withstand storms. Like the home that I've been in, or my home that I live in, it's been here since the late '80s, and it's still here. So that's kind of the perception that we build things to last. So I feel very comfortable and safe.
That's okay. Thanks God we don't have such things here. And what about COVID in your country now? Because we have like green zone, yellow zone, red zone. Red zone is when everything is closed and you can go anywhere. Yellow zone, you can go but with a mask, and there are some exceptions. Green zone and everything okay. Now we have, I think, yellow. How? But that's everything is open, and Odessa is such city that I don't know, nothing matters, but we're working, having fun, and so on. What about you?
It's interesting because I think you can get more of a sense of your community when you're traveling. And just recently coming back from Los Angeles, every establishment that we went in, they had some sort of sign up that said, you can't dine here, you can't uh, be in here without proof of vaccination. So you needed a vaccination card. Well, no one the entire time we were there asked us, could they see our vaccination card? So how do they know? And
Mm-hmm.
we weren't required to wear masks for the most part. Uh, there was a relative lack of caring. And then at the same time over here, we basically have nothing at this point. Like no sort of restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
But also it depends on leadership in your immediate area because I have friends in other parts of the U.S. that say it can be quite rigid with the requirements day to day. but generally the way you described, we're somewhere between yellow and green, where you have the
Mm-hmm.
option to wear a mask anytime you want to. You have the option to be vaccinated,
Mm-hmm.
but whether or not people are doing it, hard to say. I think the only places now we're absolutely required to wear masks are in airports
Mm-hmm.
and public transportation. But
Maybe in
that's
medical buildings somewhere.
right. Things that are national mandates.
Hospitals.
But I would say if I go into a grocery store or um, farmer's market or something like that, you're at this point, I would say 30 to 40% of the people are wearing a mask, and others are not.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a, a general census from what I've observed.
I see. Thank you. Oh my God. Someone tell that I'm looking like an angel. Bryan, thanks. That was really interesting. I was talking to you previously, but such questions are very, very important, and I didn't ask it previously. So I see that you recommend everyone to go into Florida, having rest, fun, holidays, and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And when I moved here, I was moving here for a job to be a teacher, and you can tell because I am Palm Beach Chess on everything from Instagram, YouTube. That's me. I bought a home here. I have plans to stay here. Uh, I was sold as soon as I got here. It's a beautiful place to live, and this is the place for me.
Yeah. Guys, Palm Beach Chess. I'm pressing always likes and hearts, and you do this too. I will share links under the video, and I will download it also on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I will share with you a link. And thanks for being here and for answering my super questions.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Very effective and nice day.
Thank you. You as well.
See you. Bye.
Bye.